Good morning, pre-calc. I'm going to try something new today because I can't be in class. So we're going to do a screencast for today's lesson. So what I'd like you to do is take out your Chromebooks and have Desmos ready or have Desmos ready on your phone, whatever's easier. I would like you to take out your notes, make sure you have polar coordinate paper. And we're going to start our warm-up together today. We're going to do everything together. And then tomorrow we'll go over the homework that was due today. I may send you homework later today, so if you could please check that. I just need to get that together. So at this time, I would like you on paper and pencil to create the following sketches by hand. So the first part we're going to do together is create the sketches over here that are in rectangular form. So our goal today is to look at more complicated polar coordinate equations, right? So we're going to start with changing all the frequencies. So 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, and then see how that looks when we go ahead and graph that on the calculator, and then how do we do that by hand. So why don't you pause this right now and go ahead and draw all of these brief sketches by hand. And I'm going to move to Desmos on my calculator so we can talk about them together. Okay, so here we are. We're in rectangular form. We're going to graph y equals cosine theta to start, or cosine x actually. And so really what we want are all the values from 0 to 2 pi, right? We're always looking from 0 to 2 pi. So these are our key values. Notice that 0, 1 is the first point that we would plot, right? And then we go 5 points later, cut it in half, cut it in half, cut it in half. Okay, so what happens if we have y equals cosine 2x? Well, then we're doubling the frequency, right? And maybe we should go over here and in the wrench change it from 0, or let's say negative pi to 2 pi. So we see a little bit less of the graph. So we're going negative pi to 2 pi. Actually, let's change that again and go from 0 to 2 pi. I think that'll be nicer. So from 0 to 2 pi, we see our cosine x graph. There it is. And then the double frequency, or the frequency is 2 times, right? So if we change that and make it 3 times or 4 times or 5 times, notice our key values are the highs and lows, right? We want to see where those highs and lows are, and those in-betweens, the midpoints there, are the zeros. Okay, so let's see how this relates now to a polar graph. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this. So there's my home key. I'm going to change to a polar grid. And notice if it's just y equals cosine x, right, it overlaps it on the polar grid. Now let's go ahead and make this actually r equals cosine theta. And notice you can type in theta, right? I'm not sure if we talked about that. Now we've graphed this one. We showed that cosine theta is over on the right part of the grid because cosine theta is positive x. So we'd have those positive x values. Note as well, which is harder to see here, that this goes out to 1, right? Here's our circle with a radius of 1. So this is 0, 1, and this is also a 1 up here if we're looking at the overlapped graph of y equals cosine x. Okay, now what's going to happen if we go ahead and make this r equals cosine 2 theta? R equals cosine 2 theta. We saw this briefly at the end of class the other day where there were double the petals actually. Double the petals, right? But notice we're still starting over here on the 0 axis at 1, right? And so how come that is? Well, take a minute with your partner and look at where's the starting point here for this graph, y equals cosine x. So let me get rid of these two, right? When you start y equals cosine x, if we think of this as a rectangular coordinate plane, we start at 0, 1, right? So that's going to be the first point that we would plot if we were going to do r equals cosine theta. The first point we would plot is 0, 1 right over here. Right? And so let's go ahead and just plot that 0, 1. I want that to be backwards, right? 1, 0. Remember, I have to reverse that for polar. So this point right here is our first point, and then we went counterclockwise. And today we're going to do a little bit more of that when we look at some more complicated equations. Now let's go ahead back over here. I'm now going to delete this r equals cosine theta. So I have cosine, actually, if we think of that as 1 theta, there's 1 circle. We have 2 thetas, and that actually produces 4 petals, right? So what happens if we have r equals cosine 3 theta? What do you think is going to happen? Well, we have 3 petals, right? So r equals cosine 3 theta produces 3 petals. And what's going to happen if we have r equals cosine 4 theta? Make that prediction before you see it. We end up with how many petals here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 petals. So what do you notice about the coefficient or the frequency on theta there? If it's 1 theta, 3 theta, what do you think will happen with 5 theta? We're going to see how many petals. If it's 2 theta, 4 theta, 6 theta, 8 theta, let's see what's going to happen. If it's r equals cosine 6 theta, we end up with double those petals, right? Notice, let's go back to the beginning here for 2 theta. That's an easier one to see, that we're actually out at 1 here. So there's a radius of 1 that's not so easily highlighted here, right? And so that radius stays the same for all of these, okay? Where we're still starting out at 0, 1. How come? Every single time we graph y equals cosine x, let's pop that down here, y equals cosine x, we're always starting up at 0, 1 on a rectangular grid. So over here, I think I'm saying this backwards, it would be 1, 0 radians, right? We're starting here all the time. So my question to you is, how would we produce these graphs relatively quickly without going through and making a rectangular grid every time? I don't want to produce 2 cosine x every time. I don't want to do y equals 3 cosine x. I don't want to do y equals 4 cosine x. What's happening here every single time? What are our key values here? Well, let's go ahead back over to r equals 2 theta, okay? So there's 4 petals, and so what are the angle measures in here, all of these petals, right? So this is 0 radians, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, back to 2 pi. And so we'd be looping around here, right, to produce this. This is hard to see right now because I'm not with you going through it in detail, but we're literally looping around here, and we'll do one of those tomorrow out in detail, okay? So how would we then get 3 theta, right? So let's go to 3 theta. We have 3 petals. What's the angle measure here? So this is 0 radians. Now, if they're equidistant, and this is 2 pi radians, what's going to be over here? What's that angle measure going to be? So if we go 2 pi and divide it by the 3 petals, we're going to see the distance between each, right? So that would be 2 pi over 3 radians, 4 pi over 3 radians, back to 2 pi. And so if we can get these key points in here, then we just do our little loop-de-loops, right? Our little petals. Does that work for 4? Let's see. Cosine 4 theta. So here we are at 0. There are how many petals? There are double the amount of petals, which means we have 2 pi divided by 8. What's 2 pi divided by 8? That's pi over 4. So our first position is going to be 0, then pi over 4, then pi over 2, and likewise all the way around, and we know these all loop back in. Why do we know these loop back in? We know they loop back in because visually we're proving that if we only change the frequency, that it's going to be this nice flower petal. So I'm going to pause this now, and I want you now to draw a few of them yourself. And then I want you to go ahead and look at cosine theta. So what is going to happen with cosine theta? Okay, so here's r equals, sine theta. I said cosine theta. So I want you to do the same thing, and you can use Desmos for this. Where's the starting point on all of these, and then what do those graphs look like? How are they similar to cosine, and how are they different? And I'm going to pause this at this point, and you should as well. Okay, folks, so hopefully at this time you've had some opportunity to investigate what happens with sine x. I'm going to talk briefly through this as well to make sure we're all on the same page. And so hopefully you've seen some commonalities between sine and cosine when you change the frequency. In fact, the number of petals is the same. If they're odd, you see that number of petals. If they're even, you see double the petals. And remember, what you see for the odd ones just means that the extra set is overlapped, right? So what do I mean by that? For example, like r equals sine theta. Remember that although we only see one circle here, there's actually an overlap. So all of the odds, and I don't think I mentioned this before, have two of those circles or twice those petals. You just don't see them, okay? And if we recall from the other day, r equals sine theta is positive, so we're in the positive y-axis. If this was a negative, it flips down to the bottom, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and look at r equals sine x. I'll undo this one. And remember that now this starts at 0, so that's where it's a little different, right? So if we have r equals sine theta, that's one circle. If we have r equals sine 2 theta, that's double. So there's 4 of them, right? But notice where the starting point is. We're no longer on 0 radians. We have to figure out what that first starting point is. And so what is this value up here? This is actually pi over 4, right? So let's go ahead here and look at it in rectangular form, 2x. So let's put that one in, okay? Close this out, turn that on. And notice, let's get rid of this, that in rectangular form, that this is 0 to 2 pi. 0 to pi. Cut it in half is pi over 2, and then when we cut it in half, that gives us one of our key values, pi over 4. So we do have to think about the rectangular form of an equation, or think about halves and halves and halves. So what do I mean by that? Let's go ahead and change that now. We'll undo this, and now let's put r equals sine 3 theta. Okay, and so we have 3 petals, but this one might be harder to see here, right? So we can find, again, the distance between all 3 of these, right? It's going to be 2 pi divided by 3. So this is 2 pi over 3 radians, or maybe degrees is easier. 360 divided by 3 is 120 degrees between all of these petals. Okay, but how do we know that this is pi over 6? We can see it here, but that's our job to figure that out. So let's go ahead and do it in rectangular form as well, right? So r equals sine 3x, and we'll put that one right in here. Overlapping, I'm going to undo this one. So we go from 0 to actually 2 pi over 3, right? Because all we need is that first period. So if we think about that, what's going to be the first height value going to be? What is that going to be? How do we get there? Well, that's 2 pi over 3, cut it in half is pi over 3, cut it in half is pi over 6. So we really want to think about cutting 2 pi over 3 twice, right? Or 2 pi over 3 divided by 4, right? Because we're cutting it into fourths. We've talked about that. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 regions. So it's 2 pi over 6, which reduces to pi over 6. I don't want to memorize anything. I don't like to memorize. I want to think about it, right? So let's go ahead over here to 4. If we change that to 4 and we change this one to 4, we're going to see a ton of petals, right? 8 petals. But where do we start? Well, we start at thinking about sine of 4x. So sine of 4x would be right over here. So this value right in here is pi over 2, right? 2 pi over 4. Cut it in half and cut it in half, pi over 8. So back over here, we start at pi over 8. That's this value on the end here. And then we'd go ahead and add all of those differences and literally do our loops in there. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Tomorrow we can do a little bit more if you want and have questions. In the meantime, I want you to make sure that you're visually seeing this on Desmos and then that you could produce them. And maybe you should try something that's like sine 6 theta or sine 7 theta and see if you can get when it's odd or even and where that starting point is. Okay, so go ahead and pause this now. Summarize for 30 seconds with your partner what we just talked about at this time. Okay, so hopefully in your summary you've talked about the fact that whether it's even or odd for sine or cosine, the idea is the same about the number of petals. If it's odd, you see those number of petals. If it's even, you have to double it. And then the shift, right? Just like we shift, a cosine graph starts at 1 radius away or 1,0 radians, but a sine graph will change depending on where the starting point is, the first maximum value. Okay, again, we can talk more tomorrow about it if you want to see some more of the graph rectangular to polar, but for now I think we have a good base and foundation.